So, everyone, I think we're...
Like, does he want the critiquing too? So much pressure.
You better do it right. So much you know.
Can you go outside?
No.
That's a good one. Woo! Yeah. Bring it up, Sam. No, it's not enough. That's pretty good. It's supposed to be like I'm the best artist ever. Okay? And here we go. I'm going to perform you the best performance that you have ever seen. Okay?
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. It means something, okay? It does mean something. Nice. The best part is coming soon. Woo! That's a good one.
So, I think we can go ahead and start talking about this. You can keep, yeah. Yes.
I love how you
Ah!
I love how he was interactive with the audience and telling us to clap for him and he was talking to us and you don't really necessarily see it in art. I really like it.
I'm very entertained with this piece, and I feel like it's pushing well, what I'm getting out of it is that we're supposed to be pushing our limits of what we understand art to be, and because of that understanding, I thought it was really cool how like he's saying I was the best artist, but at the same time, like we didn't know like when he wanted us to like clap, or we didn't understand his cues. So I think that there was some like meaning in that.
Sanka.
Really interesting that he kept having to say like, oh no, this does mean something. Kind of like represents like all the artists out there that are constantly questioned like, is that even art? Like, what is that? It's not art. Like you're just walking around. So it's kind of like fun.
Yeah, and also I feel I feel this notion like a lot of people like if you're an artist, like no matter what you do, like you can call it art, or you do something you might not even mean it for it to be art. Like other people might call it art. So like I feel like he's like really like pushing it. Like, look, this is art. This means something. Clap for me. This is good. This is the best performance you've ever seen. Like he's kind of just like telling us it instead of like letting us think for ourselves. So yeah, I thought it was interesting because it's like this is art. It's not like standing for itself. He has to tell us we need to clap. We need to like this. So.
I think he was, the entire time he was walking around, he kept on reminding me of his.
I got you.
Oh yeah, so he kept on reminding him, oh, this means something, and then while doing so, he walked himself into a corner, he trapped himself, but still, I think he's still performing, insisting that this all means something, and I think it's just, as an artist, trying to find meaning, trying to create something, you trap yourself in this corner of desperation almost.
Okay, I don't want to record myself. Are you gonna? With his sudden outburst, I think he's trying to say that he doesn't like criticism or people to. He's still this is still going, so I'm wondering if that's what he's trying to say.
I think that there's good points to mention, which is that I think some people have noticed or have been commenting that, is this about what we think is art? Is this about what the artist thinks is art? And I think to contextualize that, it's really about what our expectations are, expectations of a performer, expectations of an artist, how often do we see a performance and then clap at the end? Or we want to see something illuminating and magical revealed from the act. So I think that there's a lot of playful elements with expectations going on, and even now, Charles.
Another thing is, I don't know if he told you to do this, but like you're still filming us, like talking and all this commentary, and like makes me feel like this is part of, like this is part of what he's doing, especially since he kept reacting with us. So like kind of going off like what someone said about like criticism and stuff, like maybe if he doesn't like take the criticism too well, maybe like it's like all this commentary that like we're talking about with him, like saying what we like and don't like is part of the project itself. It's part of the video. Yeah.
And also, like he put himself in a corner, which is typically like a shameful act. But he's not performing as if it's shameful. He's still continuing to interact with us, lashing out, trying to still have fun with us. Or at least have the appearance that it's really fun. So I think that there's those layers too, where it's, is it fun? Is it playful? Is it shameful? Is it loss of expectations? Maybe it is a bad performance, but if you add a lot of flash and glitz to it, does it suddenly become a good performance? I think that those are some of the.
Because it's the best performance.
It's
so
the
it's
best.
The best artist.
Yeah. So I think that those are good questions that he's asking. So the timer has gone up. I'm going to open it, and if he wants to interact with us. And if not, then we'll just continue doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Come on, yeah!
And that will come out. That's why. When you have a drawing, it isn't art at all. You just paint it, you just drew it. It doesn't mean anything. But if you put it in a gallery, in a museum, it is art. Then people will spend a bunch of money to buy it, just because they see it as art. It doesn't have to be art. It can be anything. Like, art can be anything. Even it's super meaningless, it's super strict. Like, yeah, it's the best art ever, because I claim it is an art, and I am an artist, so it is art. Okay, now I'll go back. But if it sucks.
What were you gonna say, Frank?
What if it sucks?
Well, I think that these are important conversations to have, which is that, you know, do we live in an age where we really question what is art, what is not art, or do we live in an age where everyone is suddenly a creative and suddenly everyone has like leisure time to curate their Instagram and everyone considers themselves artistic in some way. So maybe the conversation isn't so much what is art, what isn't art, but maybe but maybe instead the conversation should be either surrounding the market or the value of it, sort of someone's critique. We were talking about that. What were we talking about? We were talking about someone's performance. We were talking about just like expectations or like what's valued. Who did that? We did a performance in here the first day. Brittany? Brianna? No.
Was it Mary?
That was the second day. So we were talking about societal different. Oh, I think it was a spoken word piece. Never mind. My bad. But just I think it was Mariel. We were just talking about like societal differences and talking about if you're going to argue for something, it's important to address the other side of it. So I think that's kind of what he's doing, is not just making an argument in one way or another, but trying to make an argument while subverting the context of it, kind of like a meta performance.
He's also like not responding to that feedback like formulaically, like he's like listening, and then I think it's like there's something that will trigger his reaction. So I think like that's like giving us like, oh, he's listening to everything we're saying right now. Like he's not just in the corner. So he'll scream when something like triggers something, or it's like it's not just like every 5 minutes I'm gonna scream.
I wonder if it's specific words or phrases that we're saying that is triggering it, or the response. So I've just been trying to observe that.
Okay, I think we're gonna have a few more comments. Charles, Tyler. Charles.
So I think a lot of it is just like, you know, like where does meaning in art come from? Because like on one level, like if you take a piece of art and you just put it in a gallery, there is this kind of sense that it's art no matter what, because it's in a gallery, so it's kind of assumed. And it's like, well, does the meaning come from the artist? Like, are we looking for something he put into it that we can't see, or is the meaning just coming from us? Like, he just put this together and it's like, you know, like how do we perceive it? Like, is the meaning of this just coming from us? Because I know, like, especially like in high school and stuff, with like literature and with art and everything, like it's hard to figure out where like the meaning comes from the artist, where the meaning comes from you, whether that even matters where it comes from. So like a lot of this is like how much plan. Did he really think like exactly what I want to do is walk around, or was he just like, okay, I'm just gonna do something like walk around and see what everyone has to say. I'm gonna stand in the corner and listen. So it's like, like clearly from what we're saying, this is a very meaningful project, but it's not because of all of us, or is that because of him?
That is so important to mention though, is that we're not even talking about what he actually did. We're not talking about the literal performance of it. We're talking about the abstract of it, right? We're talking about the context of it. We're talking about the dialogue that we're having about this piece. So, Tyler.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I've noticed that whenever someone says like something like that, like I feel like whenever someone says like something that actually connects with this project is when he moves.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've noticed that like a couple times now.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know, since this is a confession project, like his confession has to be like how he struggles with like the meaning in his art, and like whether he believes like it'll ultimately have meaning in the end or not. That's what I gathered in this conversation.
All right. Anyone want to have the last word?